Well, hello, listeners, and welcome back to Low Unmuted. This is season one, Unmuted, a return to self, where I share my journey of becoming. It's the small, quiet decisions, the lessons, and the freedom that comes with aligning your life with who you truly are. So, if you're ready to step away from what no longer serves you and live life on your own terms, then you're in the right place. So, listeners, today we're talking about fragrance. And not just as something you wear, but as something you experience. Something that can feel like a quiet return to yourself. Because there's something about scent. It's subtle, but it's powerful. It doesn't ask for attention, but it creates presence. And I did not want to just steal all the thunder in discussing this alone. So I have invited someone to join me. And this is none other than Miss Brande Michelle, the owner of Scents for Less by Brande, an online niche fragrance company. She's also the voice behind Gracefully Rising, She Means Business, and her Facebook Live series, Speak Up Sis, where she creates a space for real conversations amongst women. What I appreciate about Brande is not just what she does, but how she shows up in it. There's intention there, there's connection there. So I am really looking forward to this conversation, and you guys are in for a treat. So, welcome to the show, Brande.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, everyone.
So, I want to start here. How did you get into fragrance?
That's a good one. Let me put on my thinking cap and go back. It
Okay.
goes back to adolescence. I grew up in a home where my mom cooked, and I fell in love with like nutmeg, cinnamon with spices
Mhm.
as a child. In high
Okay.
school, I would sneak in my mom's fragrances. My aunt, a great aunt, sold Avon. So we got Avon for gifts in high school, but I didn't want to wear Avon. I wanted something a little bit more demure. So again, I would go into my mom's, and then my mother, who would sell perfume out the trunk of her car as I became a young woman later in life. When she passed, I kind of took over selling fragrances. Didn't think I would like the selling part of it. I just like to wear it. Didn't want to sell it. And it did really well. 13, 14 years later, here we are today. So that's where it all
Wow.
started.
Okay, so first thing I find is interesting is that it started with not just fragrances of perfume, but it started as fragrances from the kitchen. You said like spices and things of
Hmm.
that nature. And I know a
Yes.
lot of times the spices, the notes in the spices kind of go over to perfume. And then you said you liked perfume, you liked the scent. We all know of Avon. If y'all don't know of Avon, I think y'all are in a different generation than Brandy and I. But yes, Avon, I recall Avon. I think I wanna say, did my mom sell Avon? I don't know. I just remember the ladies coming through the neighborhood and they hang that little
Mhm.
bag on the door with the Avon. So, it's interesting that you say that you didn't know if you were going to like selling it, but you knew you like to wear it. So tell me a little bit about how you're feeling now about selling it.
Oh my God. So the selling part, I'm more into communications, meeting people. Selling just wasn't me because I never wanted to pressure anybody to get something that they already wanted or knew that they needed. So that's the selling part. Years later, found out that perfume is so much more than just a bottle of smelly alcohol. It's actually a confidence booster for a lot of women. Once I realized that, I started targeting the market for women who were ready to go to the next level, coming out their comfort zone, needed help in selecting their signature fragrance, and being more as the go to not just sell you something, but to make sure you were getting something you were really pleased with and finding your signature scent, the educational part of fragrance, and not just selling them just to make a sale and to make money. It was more, it just got a little bit more intense for me. It got deeper for me, more meaningful, and the sales just start rolling in.
Okay, okay. That makes sense. And so from that, my next question actually kind of derives from that. So from your perspective, what did you see women getting wrong when it comes to choosing perfume? Do you think maybe they didn't know the notes or
Oh, that's a good one. It's several, but I'll start with this one. Wanting what someone else has on, thinking that that fragrance, because it smelled good on you, would also smell good on them. And what I say to that is to try it on. Every fragrance is not going to smell the same on everyone. Okay. And so I get that a lot. And I try to encourage them to at least try it out, whether they're getting a little atomizer and you don't want to commit to a full bottle, but I would do that. Number two is that fragrance evolves over time. So don't be so caught up on that first initial spray. Wait to that middle note and that bass note, which is the final note that kicks in and what people remember, and to try something new. And it's okay to step out of your comfort zone once you know what notes smell good on you.
makes sense? And it actually connects to something I've been thinking about lately is how we choose so many things in our lives is based on what's available to us instead of what actually fits us. Like when you were saying, they smell something on someone else and, they assume that it's going to smell the same for them. So, have you noticed a difference in how women carry themselves when they find a scent that really feels like them?
Mm. Man, they have a different walk. They have a different talk. They put that purse on that crease in the on the elbow and head is high. Perfume, the right fragrance boosts your confidence. And I can see that. I see it.
I love that. I love that. Because that's what this season is about. It's about not performing or not reaching, but actually feeling like yourself and, having that self-confidence, boosting that self confidence. And it's interesting how something as simple as a scent of perfume can support it. So, what about you, Brandy? Do you have a signature scent of your own, or does it change depending on how you feel?
If I had to say my favorite scent, and I categorize mine by work scent, which is just a soft floral, but my favorite is date night scent. It's Delana by Parfums de Marly. That is a beast. It smell like some nutmeg, some sweet nutmeg.
Okay, okay. So I'm a gourmand girly myself, and I'm a vanilla. I kind of change. I don't really have a signature scent. It kind of changes with my mood and whatever's going on in the season. Like I know in the fall and winter, I just be wanting to smell like a whole vanilla pound cake. So I know we've talked about, I just shared that, I'm gourmand girly. And for those of you that don't know about that, it's like the fragrance, the edible fragrance, correct? Am I correct?
That is correct. Like chocolate or something edible. When you smell it, you want food, donuts or something sweet, pastries or something.
Yes, marshmallows.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then you mentioned a date night fragrance, a
Mhm.
date fragrance, I mean nutmeg. So if someone is listening right now, Brandy,
Mhm.
and he or she is feeling a little overwhelmed by all of this because I know you also sell cologne. So we're not forgetting about the gentlemen out there, that are listening. Gentlemen, if you are listening, Miss Brande Michelle, Sense for Less by Brandy, sells men's fragrance as well. But anyway, if someone is listening right now and feels a little overwhelmed by all of this, where would you tell them to start?
That's a good question. I would say start with sometimes you gotta go back to the basics. Just, a scent. Vera Wang is a great one to start with as far as a designer fragrance. She's not expensive and more subdued. I would try something with a fruity floral, not too flowery floral, but fruity floral with a little sweet in it, but really, really soft until you're ready to step into something a little bit more commanding as far as a fragrance, like the presence of it, a little bit stronger fragrance. A toilette, and the difference between the two is a toilette, perfume is only smelly alcohol. It depends on how much you're putting in the bottle. I would recommend maybe a toilette because it has less smelly alcohol than a eau parfum or a parfum or extract. So I would start there. If you are able to go into a store, I would recommend you go in and try a few scents on your skin, your moisturized skin, or you can check out my website at sensefulnessbybrandy.com, where we sell atomizers, 5 ml atomizers. You get about 50 to 60 sprays. I spray heavy, so I probably get 45 to 50, but they're great for travel. More importantly, they're great for sampling and not committing to a full bottle. And if you are prefer the higher end fragrances, the Bonds, the Creeds. Those are $400 bottles. Well, $20 for a 5 ml atomizer sounds a whole lot better until you are ready to commit to purchase that bottle. So I would start maybe with atomizers, just trying different atomizers.
I love that. I love that. And what I'm hearing underneath all of this is it's about intention,
Hmm.
not just picking something because it's popular, but actually asking yourself, what feels like me right now? And then if you are still a little unsure, of course, contact, Brandy Michelle at Sense for Less by Brandy and try some atomizers.
Hmm.
Okay. So before we close, I want to ask you this. If fragrance could say something about a man or a woman without them speaking at all, what do you think fragrance would say?
Here, I'm present. I've arrived. That's what
I
it would
love
say.
it. I love
Hmm.
it. I love it. And I think that that's what makes our conversation so special because it's not really just about perfume. It's about presence. It's about choosing yourself and allowing that to be felt even in the smallest ways. So, listeners, if this conversation stirred something in you, if it made you pause and think about how you experience yourself day to day, I created something just for you. It's a simple sensory ritual, nothing complicated, nothing overwhelming, just a quiet way to begin reconnecting with yourself through scent, through stillness, and through intention. And you can download it over on my Substack and I'll leave the link in the show notes. And if you're already there with me, you already know that's where we go deep, a little bit deeper than the podcast. So, Brandy, I want to thank you for being here. This really felt grounded, like a real conversation, and I appreciate you sharing your perspective.
Thank you. You're welcome, and thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share, and I want everybody to find their signature scent.
Absolutely, absolutely. And to everyone listening, this is your reminder that returning to yourself doesn't always look big or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's as simple as choosing something that feels like you. But anyway, listeners, I want to thank you once again for joining me today. Make sure you come back Wednesday. And until then, stay unmuted.